So you're buying a house, or maybe you're selling one, or even just refinancing, and then comes the appraisal. It can feel like this big, scary, mysterious part of the process, right? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what appraisers are really looking for so you know what actually matters.
All right, let's just dive right in. Picture this. The appraiser is walking through your house, clipboard in hand, just scribbling away. And you're standing there thinking, what on earth are they actually writing down? Are they judging my couch, my weird taste in art? It feels like a total black box.
Well, here's the good news. It's not nearly as subjective as you might think. It really has very little to do with your personal decor and a whole lot more to do with three core pillars of value. And honestly, once you understand these three things, the whole process just clicks. So let's get into this framework. We're calling it the Appraiser's Big Three. And trust me, this is the secret sauce for how pretty much every home's value is determined. Yep, that's it. Everything really just boils down to these three main categories. They guide the entire valuation from start to finish. And here they are. First up, we've got condition and livability. The actual physical shape the house is in. Second is location and market, because where it is matters a ton. And third is size and utility. Basically, how big is it and how functional is the space? These three pillars, they're the foundation for everything. Okay, let's start with that first one, condition and livability. This is all about the physical health and the basic functionality of the house itself. So what does condition really mean in this context? We're talking about how structurally sound the place is, whether it's safe to live in, and just the general level of upkeep. And these factors are crucial because they tell a potential buyer, and more importantly the bank, how much money they might have to sink into it down the road. The assessment really starts before the appraiser even steps through the front door. They're looking at the home's first line of defense, the roof, the siding, the foundation. They're basically asking, is this place solid and well cared for? They're also looking at the site itself, things like drainage, and they have to note any permanent negatives, like if you're right next to a super loud highway. All of that plays into the final number. Then, of course, they come inside. Here, they're getting a feel for the general quality of the finishes, think your flooring, your walls. They are definitely zeroing in on the kitchen and bathrooms because, as we all know, updates there are huge value drivers. But they're also actively looking for red flags, any signs of past water damage or obvious health and safety hazards. And this next part, this is what I like to call the guts of the house. The appraiser has to verify that all the core systems, the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing, are all functional and safe. This isn't just about being comfortable, it's about making sure the house is fundamentally habitable, which is a really big deal to the bank that's about to lend a whole lot of money on it. Okay, but a house, no matter how great it is, doesn't exist in a vacuum. And that brings us to pillar number 2, location and market. You've heard it a million times, but it is so true. Location, location, location. In an appraisal, it is absolutely critical. A home's value is just completely tied to where it sits. So the appraiser is analyzing things like, is this a sought-after neighborhood? How good is the school district? Is it close to parks and shopping? But they're also zooming out and looking at the big picture. What's the overall market doing in this specific area? Are prices going up? Are they flat? And yeah, location isn't just about the good stuff. Appraisers also have to account for negative influences. There's even a technical term for it, external obsolescence. So being right next to a busy highway, railroad tracks, or a big commercial building, those things can have a real quantifiable dent on a home's value, and that has to be factored in. Okay, so once we've covered the condition of the house itself and where it's located, we finally arrive at the third pillar, size and utility. This is where we get into the hard numbers and the practical, functional aspects of the property. So when an appraiser talks about size, they're mostly focused on the gross living area, especially the square footage that's above ground. But it's not just about a raw number. The bedroom and bathroom count is hugely important for making comparisons. And utility is all about the layout. A house with a really weird, shoppy floor plan just has less utility. It's less useful than one with that modern open flow everyone wants. So now that we have our three pillars, let's talk about the real needle movers. These are the factors that have the biggest impact, whether it's positive or negative, on that final number an appraiser comes up with. It's really kind of a balancing act. On one side, you've got your value boosters, being in a fantastic location, having an updated kitchen, a modern layout. But on the other side, you have the value draggers, a ton of deferred maintenance, structural problems, or a really obsolete floor plan.
An appraiser's whole job is to weigh this balance of pluses and minuses to see where your home fits in the current market.
Now, this next part is maybe the single most important concept of the entire appraisal. After an appraiser has assessed the property using our 3 pillars, their final opinion of value is ultimately anchored by one thing: comparable recent sales, or what everyone in the business calls COPS. And here is how it all ties together so beautifully. An appraiser finds recently sold homes that are really similar to yours. Then they use our big 3, condition, location, and size, to make adjustments. So if your kitchen is way more updated than a comparable sale, they'll adjust the value up. If your house backs onto a busy road and the comp doesn't, they'll adjust the value down. It's this methodical process of adjustments that allows them to arrive at a final, justified number.
So there you have it. The mystery of the clipboard is solved. It's all about condition, location, and size, all viewed through the lens of what's actually selling nearby. So I guess the real question is, now that you know the framework, what story does your home tell an appraiser?